right. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. And hello, El Paso County Democrats, elected officials, former executive council members, and visitors and online community. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the members of our executive council and our volunteers. So if you're here tonight, please stand up, take a moment to be recognized. Come on, volunteers, executive council. Woo! It's my sincere honor to be here addressing each of you today as the chair of our incredible party. When I stepped into this role, I was sure there would be hard days. There would be trials and tribulations. But I was also sure that just as this party has had to be resilient and strong in the past, that together we could face any challenge. In my short time in this role, I've had so many meetings that ended with hope, commitment to bettering our community, and digging deep to earn El Paso County the representation it deserves. More meetings than I could ever have imagined and could possibly count at this time, but they were awesome. Just last Saturday, a group of Dems braved the cold and marched in the St. Patty's Day Parade, where once our presence would have led to booze and unkind verbal assaults. On Saturday, we were met with more cheers and more excitement and more energy than we were even prepared for. There were so many folks whose eyes lit up when we passed them, or who didn't want the people around them to know when they silently waved or thanked us for being there. It was incredible to be there and to give folks an introduction to the other party, to give folks a welcoming smile and say that we are here and they are welcome here too. It's with that energy that we are embarking on the next 2 years. We will find those reserved waivers, those silent supporters, and give them tangible, feasible options for representation they can truly be proud of. Tonight, you're going to hear from a lot of our currently serving executive members, and they're going to talk about all the work that's underway. It's my hope that you will leave here with a better understanding of where our party is and where we are going. Through these members, I hope you will see areas that we can expand upon and that you can help us reach. Listen and learn, but look at the areas where you can get involved. It's going to take all of us to move this ginormous needle. Do not miss your chance to be at the forefront of the change that is coming. I know as a party, our darkest days are behind us. And while it can't be rainbows every day, I also know that our brightest days are just on the horizon. We will continue to elect Democratic leaders through historical races, and we will give El Paso County the leaders it deserves. Thank you again for being here tonight. I want to take a moment to pass it over to Rob Rogers, our first vice chair.
You are on mute.
We met our goal of contacting just about every voting member of El Paso County Democrats in the Central Committee. And one of the things that we talked with everyone about was the 4 primary objectives, our 4 primary goals for what we wanted to focus on whenever we were in these seats. Now, the first one, this is just to reiterate those things. The first one is increasing our fundraising capacity. We need to be able to bring a lot more money to the table in order to be able to accomplish our goals. We would like to even be able to get into the situation at some point in the future of being able to pay volunteers. It's how serious and how high on our priority list that increasing that fundraising capacity actually is. After that, we've had a specific focus on the first people that we met with, both whenever we decided to run for the chair and the first vice chair, and then immediately like following reorg was to talk to college Dems, talking to the younger generation. Chauncey's nodding his head because he knows, and he knows that we're taking this seriously too. We want the younger people to come into the party. We're specifically approaching millennials and Gen Z. We have plans of approaching and meeting, going and conducting meetings in every high school in El Paso County over like the next year to 2 years. We want to start planting those seeds. We want to start growing, but it's not just, and we don't want to pay it lip service either. We have to bring them in. We have to show them like the respect that they deserve. They also need to see other people like them, in rooms like this one. So we have a specific focus on the younger generation. As we're doing that, we do know that our base, our foundation of our volunteer base is, from the older generations. It can't be an either or thing. This is not a replacement. This is not a revolution. We have to bridge the gap between those two worlds in order to truly be effective. We have to keep the base of volunteers that have been the engine for this party for so long, and bridge that with the younger generations as they come in. So it's also a specific focus. And it's so important that we're actually highlighting that as an initiative. And then last, Misha's going to laugh because it's my favorite thing to talk about. It's exercising political power. This is the situation that El Paso County is in is not the same as it has been like in the past. We are now in a position, there are enough of us, the voting trends are indicating this, that now we can start saying, hey, we're Democrats, we're here, and we expect to be respected. We expect to be represented as well. It's not the same way that it was in the past. So we can start exercising political power. We've got good opportunities to do that just this year with county commission redistricting that's coming up. The law specifies that certain things have to take place now, that districts have to be drawn in a competitive way. And we're going to do the best that we can to insist that happens, not ask. We're not asking for permission anymore. We're demanding that the law be followed, that people understand that we're Democrats. We aren't ashamed of this anymore. We have nothing to be afraid of, and we're here. So you might as well get ready to deal with it now. That's what I mean by exercising political power. We're in a position where we can do that now, and that's what we're going to do.
To this chair today. Okay. So as Rob was just talking about, county commissioner redistricting is going on right now. And there's a major change from the past because there's actual laws now that regulate how the county commissioners can redistrict. And we have written them a letter. I don't think they've replied, but we wrote the county commissioners a letter saying that we want them to implement the independent commission, or at least the advisory committee that are featured in the law. Probably not going to happen, but even beyond that, there are rules they have to follow. So the Voting Rights Act of 1965 is specifically mentioned as a law that they have to follow when redistricting, which is a big deal because right now, there's two districts that split across South Academy, which means that minority communities in El Paso County are divided between two county commissioner districts, which is one of the many tricks that the Republicans have used to keep control of the county for the last 50 years. And if you didn't know, there hasn't been a single Democratic county commissioner on the board for 50 years. And so every trick in the book that they've used, dividing municipalities, splitting up communities of interest, making districts based on keeping the Republicans in power and splitting up communities of color, all of those are explicitly illegal now and listed as ways to are measures of gerrymandering. So they have no excuse anymore. It might take a lot of work for us to get this done because it is the board that is going to be doing the redistricting still. So they are going to be talking to their lawyers. They're going to try to figure out everything that they can do to not follow this law. That's where we're going to need to come in, and we're going to need to make our voices heard, like Rob was saying, when this process starts. And we can see it through. We actually have something on our side now, rather than just asking them if they'll be nice. So that it was a really great law that passed in 2021.
This is super exciting. I know there are mixed feelings about this, but I'm excited to announce that we are moving. We are moving to a space that is going to better accommodate our growing party and our needs. And I want to take a moment to recognize Linda. Linda, can you stand up for us? So Linda is our incredible volunteer who really put all this together. You will have more information soon on where we are moving, what that's going to look like. And yes, it's all hands on deck to help us with this. So be prepared to come volunteer. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're moving. Thanks, y'all. And now Lynn Brown.
Hello, I'm Lynn Brown, the treasurer of the El Paso County Democratic Party. And I just want to show you a chart which shows you how to pay for a county party. You can see we started the year. This is our kind of a graph of our budget. We started the year with a little over $22,000 left in the bank. And the next green boxes show where we plan money to be coming in. The biggest, tallest one here, and it's a little over $30,000. It's where the bulk of our money comes from. And most of that are people who donate monthly through Act Blue. So if you're not currently one of our regular monthly donors, I'll be in the back and I'll help you set up if you'd like. Okay. Now, challenges for the year ahead. The reason we're moving is there was suddenly, we knew there would be some kind of a rent increase. Our lease was expiring. It was way larger than we planned. But we were lucky. We found a new location that you'll hear more about. Still an increase over, what we would like to pay, but it's going to be okay. But we're going to have moving expenses. We'll be doing renovations. And then inflation, as it's hitting everybody, is also hitting us. Many of the products that we use, software, for example, they're exploding in the amount of charges. So we're going to be doing more fundraising. And I just want to let you in on a secret. We're planning to bring back something that we haven't done in, I guess, quite a while in this party. It rhymes with lingo. I think you'll like it. You got it. Okay.
Thank you.
Now we'll turn it over to Cindy Carr.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Cindy Carr. I am your party secretary this year. And I appreciate everyone being here tonight in person, and our virtual people have joined us as well. Before I go into PO, though, I should say something about secretary. Just let you know, we handled everything we needed to do after reorg. We've communicated with the county, with the state. So we put reorg to bed. Hooray. But let's move on to precinct organizers. I've been our administrator for precinct organizers for a couple of years. So I have some updates on where we stand and what we need, most importantly. And so I thought we'd start with, what do our precinct organizers do? We get that question a lot, right? So the highlight is just that they mobilize your voters on issues, let them know about candidates, and we make sure to get out the vote. So that's the summary of it. So next screen. Yes, sir. So some of the specific duties within that category of what we do, we usually start before voter season and clean up our voter rolls. So you make calls to your voters. When I do that, I find about a third of them have moved and no longer live here. Or the email address we had for them was wrong, or even the phone number is wrong. So we do that to kind of clean up our list before we actually get started on the election season itself. And we can update that information in VAN ourselves, so it's there for any future users. You look for people in your precinct to help, like-minded people. Ideally, we'd have 2 precinct organizers per precinct. That's hard to find, but it is much easier to be a 2-person job. You look for registered voters, generate support in your precinct. So like an event like tonight, you might let the people in your precinct know, hey, there's a Democratic Party meeting coming up. We're going to have cookies and beverages. Come on down. So you help us with communications like that. A big, huge part of it is get out the vote, or GOTV, as it's seen sometimes. And this can be different categories. It, again, is communicating with your voters. Let them know what the deadlines are. Hey, your ballots have to be in next week. Make sure and get them. Or, hey, the mail-in date is gone. You have to drop them off in person now. So do everything you can to encourage them to get their ballots in. And then we also do something called ballot chasing, even the last week. We say, who hasn't submitted a ballot yet? And we go notify them and just remind them. So it's a lot of communications with the people in your precinct. Then the other part is caucus, which is every other year. And that's a chance to vote for people in your caucus, vote for district chairs, meet other Democrats, just like this meeting here tonight. So we encourage our precinct organizers to communicate about caucus as well. And as Lynn said, we encourage monthly donations where it's possible. Okay, next screen. So I also have a background as an accountant, so I have to show you some numbers. Numbers are meaningful to me. So what I wanted to show, this is a status of where we stand right now with our precinct organizers. And I've got along the left side are the state house district numbers. Then I've got total precincts and orphan precincts. So let me talk about those first. We currently have 328 precincts here in El Paso County. That number went up after we redistricted. And I show the number of precincts per house district. The thing that we really, really need to work on is that next column called orphan precincts. That's the number of precincts that do not have a precinct organizer. And you can see at the bottom, I put a percentage of it. That's 60% of our precincts do not have a precinct organizer. We've got to fix that. I just talked about all the valuable things our precinct organizers do. Well, those things aren't being done in these precincts that don't have an organizer. So that's going to be one of our efforts this year, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. The other thing I wanted to talk about in relation to these numbers, just highlight a couple of them. We've got 2 precincts that have the lowest amount of orphans, or excuse me, 2 districts. That's House District 14. I really want to highlight that. Look at that number. They only have 34% orphans. How did that precinct, that district get that done? We have a very active district chair there now. Thank you, Bethany, who has taken upon herself to get all of her precincts having an organizer. And she has been working on it and making great, great progress. And so you see the results of it. So thank you. And then District 18 also has a orphan percentage below 50. And that's fabulous because that's a very important district. So we appreciate all the work they're doing. District 15, we'd like to do some work with, and District 22. Those are 2 areas that have the highest percent of orphan precincts. So we specifically want to work on those, but we need work everywhere. The other thing I wanted to highlight on this, we have something called adoptive precinct organizers. And if you're not familiar with that term, it just means a person who has taken on a precinct where they do not live. So if we know of an orphan precinct, we may approach somebody that we know is a really good organizer and say, hey, would you be willing to adopt this other precinct? It's right near where you live. You do such a great job, and this precinct really needs some help. And as you can see, House District 14 has the most adoptive precinct organizers with 15. And again, that's a lot of the work that the chair has done to make sure that's another way we can cover these precincts. If we can't find new people to take them, we can offer them up for adoption. So just a couple of different ways we can cover these. Next slide. So again, our precinct organizers make a difference. Our House district chairs, as just again with the example of Bethany, make a difference, right? Our House district chairs are critical in our efforts of recruiting and retaining and energizing the organizers in their districts. Plans for this year that we have coming up, we have identified someone to help us with orientation and training. So we are planning that as we speak and hope to get those started in the next couple of weeks. Probably one set of training in the spring and one before the fall, before the election season. The other thing that we'll be working on after we get the office moved, Misha said that's a big project, but we plan to start a PO recruitment team that will look at the areas that we most need help, look at how we identify people that may be willing to become precinct organizers, and make a lot of phone calls. So that's our plans for the year, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the new precinct organizers we've had recently. We've got a lot of people with a lot of energy, so we just need to channel it. Thank you.
Just talked a lot about the state of the county, our initiatives, the things that we want to get accomplished over the next few months to years. So let's get really real for a moment. Let's close your eyes and picture this blue El Paso County, where developers and Christian nationalists aren't the ones who are calling the shots. A blue El Paso County where events like this are swarming with hundreds of people from all walks of life, showing off our community's beautiful diversity. A blue El Paso County where the homeless aren't just swept under the rug, but treated with compassion and dignity. A blue El Paso County where your progressive squad isn't made up of those people you just met at the latest protest. And it's a massive united movement for change. Imagine a blue El Paso County where county commission and city governments have finally shaken off those Republicans who've been clinging to power for forever. A county and city government that's buzzing with fresh ideas, progressive values, and a genuine commitment to creating a better future for everyone. It sounds like a dream come true, right? But here's the kicker. This dream is not going to become a reality without a little help from our friends, and that's all of you. So tonight we are asking you to dig deep and throw some cash at this vision of a bluer, brighter El Paso County. We need those Benjamins to expand our outreach, recruit and nurture kick-ass Democratic candidates, and give our community the power to stand up for what we believe in. So let's show everyone that El Paso County Democrats aren't just all talk. Go and visit our website, visit one of our rockstar volunteers like Lynn, who just made the offer already, and make your donation. And remember that every dollar counts. So whether you're chipping in pocket change or you're making it rain, you're helping to turn this vision into a reality. So thank you very much for your support, your generosity, and for joining us on this wild ride towards a blue El Paso County, because together we are going to change history.
Are we taking donations live here?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
All right. I did $50 today, so let's go. Yeah. So here are some upcoming items to watch for. Obviously, the municipal elections are around the corner. You got to get your ballots in, not mailed in, but actually all the way in by April 4th. We have the Democratic Party here has endorsed the TOPS initiative, or voting to keep the TOPS initiative in. No new tax, keeps the 0.25%. No matter what you might think about it, as far as the details go, 10 years from now, when the Democrats do have control of this county, when we look back, if we didn't vote for this now, we're going to regret it. And of course, there's the mayoral and city council elections. Please vote in that. We're going to have some people speaking today, but the Democrats have not officially endorsed anyone in those races. And there are other important races that are going to be coming up. The school board race is something that we're going to want to get involved with this time. We're not going to want the right-wing Christian nationalists and dark money to win those elections. And we're really focused on these three. Although all of them that have elections are important, obviously, Harrison School District 2, that's where I work, that's where I live. But these are the three that the dark money targeted 2 years ago. And we're wanting to make sure that they don't make any more gains there again. So please help if you can with that. And then something else to watch for, the county commissioner meetings. I know I just talked about that a second ago, but I want to point something out because a lot of people don't understand the importance of the Board of County Commissioners. The majority of new development in our community is going to be done in the county in the next 10, 20, who knows how long, especially with the water rule that just got passed. And now Norwood is going to be doing all the development in the city. So we really need to get a Democrat on this board if we're going to get control of the sprawl, of the wasting of our water, of the cost of housing. If we want to get developers out of control of our local government, we've got to win a seat there. So it is important, even if it sounds like something that most people don't really follow or know about. And then just watch for party action items. Get on our Facebook page, get on the blast, get ready for when we call out, whenever there is going to be a meeting we need people to go and speak at. We've got specific actionable items that can help make change in the county if we all can get involved and be ready when they come up. Thanks, everybody.